Hi there. Welcome to Tech Talk Weekly. I'm Bob from Creation Station. This is our weekly show where we hit three, maybe four topics in the news, give you something fun with a library fact, and send you on your way in about 15 to 20 minutes. As always, if you have any news stories you'd like us to cover, Creation Station at broward.org comes right to me, and we'll be glad to try and get them on the air for you. This week, I've got a special pinch hitter for me. Mario, thank you so much for being in.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Anytime. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Our regular, our anticipated co-host couldn't make it today, and Mario, tell people, who are you? Because you're the newest member of our community engagement team.
That's right. I'm the newest member of the community engagement team here at the Broward County Main Library. I've been working here for almost 2 months now, and it's been great. Learning a lot of skills from Bob and a lot of cool technology stuff. So super excited to see what else I learn while I'm here.
We always have fun. We always have something new and different.
Exactly.
Let's bring up our first story for the week. I do want to point out this week, our leadoff story is one that somebody sent in to us. I did not get a chance to do this other story somebody sent in about the Chip Manufacturing Act. We might have to do a whole 20 minutes just on that one act by Congress. So we'll see if we can fit that in the future when it actually gets signed into a bill. But this story here about using virtual reality in the conjoined twins in Brazil. What did you think about this idea?
I'm still amazed at that. The fact that they were able to map basically the skulls and the brains of the twins and then run, you know, practice surgeries on them from, 6,000 miles away from London to Brazil, I believe,
Yep.
and then actually carry out the procedure. That's amazing to me. I mean, in the article, it says that they believe that the surgery was, near impossible, but they pulled it off successfully, and the
It would
twins
have been
were,
totally impossible to do this in Brazil without any help. They
yep,
used the virtual reality gear after doing all the scans of the body and everything else like that. They used the
yeah,
VR gear to be able to figure out exactly where they had to cut, what they need to do, and just as importantly, practice. And they
exactly,
could go through this surgery several times before they actually committed and did it. And both kids are doing just fine.
recovery. You
And
can see the photo there, I think.
yeah,
Yep, that's wonderful. That's incredible, I think.
isn't it? That's just insane. It's just
Yeah,
crazy, crazy thing being able to pull that off.
yeah,
And that's part of why, giving people access to technology and letting them figure out what are you going to do with this. Um, and as crazy as this surgery is, it might not be the craziest one next year. There's a brand new robot surgeon that was just approved for testing. So you or I are not going to be having a robot operate on us anytime soon.
no,
But this is a fully fledged robotic surgeon that's going to be up on the space station for testing next year. It's scheduled for launch in 2023, late 2023, for testing in 2024. It is a full robot surgeon for space. Now, obviously, you need that because if you're sending people to the moon for a long time or to Mars, which is even farther, you need something out there that can do this, and you can't be carrying your own surgeon with you, I
exactly.
suppose.
And the article was saying that it can even help augment the abilities of the surgeon that's already on the International Space Station. So, and it seems to be, something that if, like it says in the article, if they can make it survive, the test launches to space, and it shows that durability, it's something they're going to
And
start
that's one of
looking
those
into.
key things. They've
Yeah,
they've done this before with other gear that they tried sending up basic standard computers as a test and proves just no, they don't work in space. Between all of the jostling and all the craziness that happens to gear as it gets launched up off of one of those rockets. Did you get a chance to see the rocket launch this morning?
no, unfortunately, I missed that, but I've heard about, the stress that it puts on people and equipment, just the speed and, leaving Earth and,
Yep.
the Earth gravitational pull and all that stuff. It
Yeah,
really takes
they
a toll on
launched the
them.
newest
Yeah.
GPS satellite this morning out of Cape
Yeah.
Canaveral. I was up and watched it.
Okay.
Um, Just have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. That's all. And but it was fun. It was fun. It was good. But yeah, it's one of these things where they're going to launch this up there, see if it can actually perform to the standards they think it will, and then start including it in future missions to the moon and to Mars. So we still got a ways off. We still got another 18. I know it sounds like in 2024, some far off date. We're talking 18 months.
Yeah, that's bizarre. It'll be here before we know it,
Isn't
and
it?
it's supposed to be fully automated or at least piloted by
Exactly. It's
an operator here
capable
on Earth.
of
Yeah,
doing full automated basic surgeries.
yeah,
And when they were talking basic surgeries, they're talking like appendicitis and stuff like that.
yeah,
Of going in and removing and editing your body like that. As you said, and being able to augment and fix things remotely, like that VR idea, but now you're doing it with a couple minutes delay sometimes in between
yeah.
you telling it. So you can't just let the robot wait around for you to
Right.
tell it, no, close that suture. It's got to know how to do it right away.
Exactly. That's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out over the coming, years. So I'm excited to see that for sure.
Healthcare is getting interesting. Healthcare is interesting right now. We get a couple other stories on healthcare coming up, but there's one that doesn't seem like a healthcare story, but it is. Um, I am not the person for this topic. Um, I don't get the whole virtual thing though. Do you follow any virtual people on TikTok or YouTube or any of these things,
No, I
Mario?
have a very minimal presence on social media, so I was also having a little difficulty understanding this, but it seems like there's a person that does motion capture
Oh,
and that
there's
motion
a whole
capture.
industry about this, yeah. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
as you can see in this picture, it's what they're doing is instead of you being someone famous on TikTok or Instagram, whoever, some celebrity, movie star, person, whoever, or famous for being famous, they instead of it being a real person, it's an avatar of a person that they make up based on a person in a motion capture suit going around and doing things. As I said, I think I'm just the wrong demographic age probably for this to capture my interest. But the reason this story kind of caught my eye for all of this was I was looking at things. I'm like, okay, that's a cool VR story. And then you just start digging into it. It's like, wait,
Mhm.
no, this is a healthcare story. This is all mental health. This is all how much work are you going to force people to do it? And as the line here is, it's human labor. It's the people inside. It's real humans doing this and having to produce and just control and do this kind of stuff. And
Exactly, and it's a billion-dollar industry, and there's
yeah,
obviously a lot of demand for it, and everything that the avatar does, it's not an avatar doing it, it's a human,
yeah.
behind it. So every movement, everything you see the avatar do, that's a person doing that, and they're being, overworked and unfavorable, work hours and conditions to meet that demand. So it's a very real issue that, is going on.
And it's as they point out here, your minimum level of activity has to be 4 to 5 hours a day doing this motion capture stuff for 22 days a month. And that's the bare minimum that they're accepting from these people who are doing these avatars now. It's just blows me away that, I guess it's partially it's we don't understand the scale of everything that has to go on behind the scenes to make it work.
Hmm.
And they
Exactly.
talk all about how they're not supposed to age, get angry, bring up any specific topics. You're not allowed to do all sorts of things because you're supposed to be this ideal avatar type person
Yep.
instead of a real person. And yeah, I loved this one about the person who retired um, after allegedly leaking business information to 1.6 million subscribers during a
Wow.
live stream.
Wow. I mean, I'd love to see one of these avatars, like just to kind of get a better understanding of, what it looks like, one of these VTubers. That would be nice. But yeah, they're definitely
Yeah.
struggling as the article points out.
And these four girls that do the A Soul from China's. Apparently now there are entire virtual pop groups. So all of this going on. Again, some of our listeners out there might just be like, Bob, what do you mean you don't know about this stuff? Come on, you got to catch up. Well, I'm trying to catch up. And and I was just reading over this. I'm like, wow, huh? You know,
I
this
got
isn't
some catching up to
this
do as
isn't
well.
this isn't the VR story. This is all healthcare. This is all mental health. This is all,
Exactly.
are you working too hard? What stresses are we putting on people to try and act like they're perfect, etc.
Yeah. So,
Which kind of leads us into our next story there about what we get wrong about aging.
hmm
And what did you think about this one, Mario?
this
What
one
do
I
you think
actually
about your aging at this
I,
point of life?
I took a couple of notes on this one because this is one of my favorite ones. To read. In the article, it says that people are now expected to live longer than ever before. We're heading into that average 100-year lifespan, and to me that's insane. And obviously, with a longer lifespan, there are a lot of cultural and economic changes that we're going to have to make. Like one of the topics that the article talks about is shifting how we view our work hours and our work schedules and
Yeah.
working to retire and that entire routine, working, 60, 80 hours and doing that for 30 years. And how a lot of people just get good at their job and do that for a prolonged amount of time, and then the after effects it has after you retire. So finding different things to get good at
I
while
think
you're
we've all heard
working.
stories about, the person who, works and works and works, retires and dies the next day kind of thing.
Yeah, finding different ways to stimulate yourself,
Yep.
emotionally and mentally, so that way when you retire, you have, a broader understanding of emotions and feelings and what they mean.
Yeah.
And
And
then
that's kind of that thing of work 30 years, take a break, maybe do a new job, doing something different. Anyone
exactly.
who's in a high complexity job that they pointed out, who retires for a year and then goes back to work, seems to have greater longevity because your brain is thinking and doing stuff. And it may not, you don't need the stress of a job, but you need something going along that way. And some of the other articles, some of the other things about, happiness is not where it's all cracked up to be. You don't need to be happy all the time. Uh, looking instead of always looking to the future, living in the present, which
Yep. Very important.
my yeah, my wife would argue with me on that one a lot. I keep saying, no, I am. I'm enjoying my life. I've got my plan for tomorrow all done. So now I get to enjoy the rest of the night. And I don't have to worry, I've knocked out that mental effort. But she thinks I'm need to just like, no, just let it go till tomorrow and just enjoy tonight. And I'm like,
That's really good advice. Sometimes we get so caught up in the future that, like the article
yeah,
said, we just forget to live in the moment and enjoy what we have and the fact that we do have a present. Um, Very important to, keep reminding ourselves of that as we
yeah.
continue to age.
And it's one of these things that this last point here, I I hope we drive home with a lot of the articles that we always talk about on this show is it's you always have to just be creative. It's that's why we do that monthly show of just being what different topics are you going to be creative in? It's something that you can have something that you're interested in because retirement doesn't mean you stop working. Retirement means you have more control over when and how you work and why you work. There are people out there who look at and try and do a gig economy thing and try and piece together several different jobs so they can have the ideal living situation for them now. And that's a really good thing. Um, and we'll see how that works going forward for everybody, right?
Yeah, we'll see how that works. And another, thing to really consider is, in the article, it mentions that we need to take a little bit of time to focus on creativity, not just wisdom, to find
Yeah.
something like an art form or painting or maybe making music or something like that, something to
I've got my
stimulate you
D&D
mentally.
game every Friday night.
Yeah,
Improv fiction happening. I'm going to keep my brain up.
whatever works for you. Just
Yep.
try to find that one thing that works for you and, stick to it and keep getting the support that you need so you can continue to thrive in that. Very
Yeah.
important.
And you lead us right into the same thing for the next one, which is the other story in the news the last couple of weeks that everybody probably heard about was the big Alzheimer's, uh, let's just call it lie,
Yeah.
fake uh, intentionally falsifying information in a study because they wanted the study to match what their drug could do. And it was really interesting to see. And as always, all these articles are in the links, so you can go through and do this. But
Yep.
at the Michigan Alzheimer's Disease Control, they spent a lot of time looking at this same information and kept coming up with something different than this study did. And now they know why. And the key thing they say is you have to actually, one, be ready for failure. Your study's going to fail. It's not going to prove what you want it to prove. That's what the whole scientific method is all about.
Yep.
Science is not about pick an outcome and then prove it. It's about doing testing to find out what the outcome's going to be.
Exactly. Yep. And apparently there was a medicine that has been long awaited,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah,
didn't
that was
yield
that
the
was a big thing in
expected.
Congress earlier this
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
And it didn't yield the results that were expected, so it's not being covered by insurance. So I'm sure that was, a big letdown for a lot of people that,
We're
or
hoping for
maybe,
this, yeah, hoping for this
yeah,
cure.
yeah,
And that's also another reason why I wanted to bring up this article is they talk a lot in here about the idea that yes, there's probably these pieces of Alzheimer's, but like the plaques and all the other things that are traditionally thinking about it, it may be that those are the after effects of you not doing something earlier on. You can't wait till you have those plaques. You have to do something prior.
exactly. And the article mentions things that we can start controlling right now, like healthier habits like social interaction, resting better, getting
Yep.
more hours of sleep, nutrition, which I think is very important. Especially those of us that, work, we don't have time to cook sometimes and we just go for fast food and things like that that aren't really healthy for you. So be more mindful of what you eat, exercise, and, try to educate yourself if you can. Use a library if possible, read a book or two about
Exactly.
something that interests you. So these are all things that we can start to change now that, hopefully will reduce our,
Yeah, and that's what they're saying.
susceptibility.
You can't wait
Yep.
till you're 70. You
Yep.
can't wait till you're older to try and stop the Alzheimer's. You stop it now ahead of time by walking, by controlling your blood pressure, doing all the normal stuff. Some would say the boring stuff that you have to do now that you're supposed to be doing. Just do that, and you're all going to make it out, right?
Exactly. Exactly. I know it's hard for a lot of people, but you just have to try
But
to
it's that hard.
be
I
more
keep saying it. I
mindful.
keep saying it
Yeah.
at work. Just walk the stairs. Don't take the
Hmm.
elevator. Walk the stairs. You're going to be okay. You'll get those extra
Exactly.
steps. You'll be fine.
And it
You
all
don't have
makes
to
a
go.
difference.
Don't run
Yep.
marathons.
Yep.
Just do some basics.
It all makes a difference, believe it or not. It all adds up. Every little
Yeah,
step you take, every time you run or go for a jog, it all makes a difference. So,
100%.
yep.
I for our cool library fact today, as we're wrapping up here, I do want to point out that NASA tomorrow, August 5th, is going to have a new webinar on the launch of Artemis. And so it is going to be, let me get the time for you. Is at one, I want to verify this. It was at 1:30, right? Yes, it is going to be at, I'm sorry, 11:30 um, Eastern time. So if you're here on the East Coast, 11:30 in the morning, and there are going to be all sorts of NASA administrators that are going to be talking about the upcoming launch for Artemis that is happening on August 29th. At least that's the anticipated first day.
That's going to be awesome. Hopefully, I can catch a part of that live, and hopefully, you guys
Oh,
can
we,
too.
we are all going to, no, I am going to put that on a big screen somewhere in the auditorium or whatever in this building. We're all going to watch that live. They're anticipating over 100,000 people descending on Cape Kennedy for that day, for that weekend.
Okay.
But I also do want to point out that Creation Station, we're going to have a special Facebook Live event with the Artemis engineers on August 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
So there's on the 5th tomorrow, there is an official webinar with NASA. On the 22nd, you get a chance to ask them your questions live with us at the library here. It'll all be on Facebook Live, so everybody
Yep.
can log in, check the calendar. And then on August 29th, those engineers get to watch their hard work go up into space and happen all at your library.
something just so mesmerizing about, space travel and space exploration, and we're one step closer every time. So
Maybe we can get them to give us a second moon rock
maybe,
once they get up there.
or maybe
I hope
alien
everybody
footprint.
here knows we have a moon rock here at Maine Library. We're the only public library in the country to have a moon rock out there for people. It'd be kind of nice to have two. That'd be really nice bragging rights, wouldn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
Is that the
And
second one?
maybe we can get that space alien footprint. I'm sure it's out there somewhere.
It's got to be somewhere. Oh
Yep,
man,
it's
some
out
of the
there.
new stuff from the James Webb. Oh my goodness. Oh, now see now I gotta stop us right there. I'm gonna throw up this end slide because we would just keep on talking and talking and talking if I go that way. Thank you, Mario, for being here today with us. If there's a favorite librarian or library you'd like to see featured on the show, Creation Station at Broward.org comes right to me, and we will be glad to try and get them on. Have a great day, everybody.
Yeah, thank you very much for watching and for having me on today. It was awesome. Thank you.